we are now here in adopting Bitcoin in El Salvador. On my side is Aljaz from Bolt.observer. Hi Aljaz, how is it going?
Hi, nice to be here.
Super, thank you. All ready for the conference?
Yeah, of course. We've been waiting for this event for quite a while.
Same here. So let's start with the fixed questions, if you don't mind. It's going to be this set of round questions on the Lightning topic. So why don't you tell me, what do you think is needed to make Lightning used by billions of people?
Starting easy, I see. Well, we definitely need to build more stuff on all sides, from wallets to infrastructure. We're not there yet, but we're on a good path. But Lightning is still in its early phases, so we need to focus on basically the entire stack, from helping people understand it and how the narratives around it are built, to just working on the infrastructure side and working on the spec layer, optimizing that and payments and everything. So a lot is basically.
Yeah, there's a long way, and fair enough. But it's good to the first step, I believe, is being aware of this and then working towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as an industry, we are working hard to get there, but it's gonna take a bit.
Definitely, thank you. Next question is, when do you think payments via the Lightning Network are common or are becoming common in the world?
That's a tough one. I think it will still take quite a bit, but as the community grows and as adoption grows, I think we will see more and more use cases where Lightning is more abstracted away, and people don't realize that they're using Lightning in their products or in their applications. It's just there as a settlement network.
Agree. That's exactly what I think as well. Next question is, what is your favorite Lightning wallet and why? Tricky one, but sure.
I use several of them regularly. I think Blue Wallet is the easiest to use, or the most simple for people. I also use Breeze, of course, and other wallets as well. It's hard to pick your favorite, but I think day to day, most of the time I use Blue Wallet, just because it's easy to use and simple.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Now, thought exercise. How would you onboard the owner of the local corner shop so their business starts accepting Lightning payments?
I think that we need to focus on the utility of the Lightning instead of trying to preach the Bitcoin philosophy first as a adoption approach, because people need to actually get something out of it and onboard this way, instead of us trying to, as a first step, convince them that Bitcoin is the greatest thing in the world and they should just embrace it. And I think that might be a problem many times of how people approach it.
Yeah, I agree. It's important to not lose the focus on the practical use of the technology as well, so that the non-technical people, the average people, can also find the value of it more or further than the
exactly. I
base
think
value.
The practical use cases should be the first way how people should onboard to Bitcoin and Lightning in general, instead of us preaching the philosophy first, because people need utility before philosophy. Philosophy should come later.
Thank you for sharing that. And now the next two questions are related a little bit more to the Bitcoin adoption environment here in El Salvador. We are both not from El Salvador, so please take our comments with a super big grain of salt. But nevertheless, maybe you can tell me what you think on why do some people here in El Salvador hardly use Bitcoin, specifically the Lightning Network, to make payments, and why do most businesses use only Chivo wallet to do these payments?
Well, as you mentioned, as a foreigner that spent 2 weeks here in total, it's very hard to comment on that with any good sense. But if I had to speculate, I would say that probably there's some education missing, and people are not exactly aware what Lightning and Bitcoin brings them, and maybe they are afraid of the technology itself. So I think that's probably one of the reasons. But also, volatility in the last year is probably not the greatest for adoption with local merchants and people in general here.
Yeah, I try to think if I've seen something that I have never seen before. It of course gives me a little bit of fear in the beginning, but that's why there are events like this, there are educational initiatives, there are solutions already helping with the onboarding, and let's see how this develops in the local environment. The next question, again, also related to the Bitcoin adoption in El Salvador. What do you think it's missing in the adoption here in El Salvador so that both the government and other private entities accept payments in Bitcoin?
Well, I already touched a bit on that, but I think that it all happened very quickly. So, and speaking with locals, you see that they were not necessarily informed enough, and it's a complex topic. And coming from a country that did change their legal tender in recent history, it's quite a process. Mm-hmm. So I think that a lot more would need to be invested in educating people and just getting everything ready, because it's a big step. So it requires people to be familiar with it, and it's not just another currency; it's a completely new paradigm shift. Yeah. So more information, more education is needed as a first step for people to actually know what it is, not just something that the government dropped on us and now we have to figure it out. So I think that's the first step that needs to be taken to maybe fix the problem in the previous question about adoption. And people have lots of fears around Bitcoin because it's a new thing, something unknown. So we need to help them understand it and prepare for what's coming in the next couple of years, I hope.
Yes, a very good point. And my big key takeaway from what you said, it's a big step. So yeah, it's time to raise ourselves and go for it. It's a big step, but it's an achievable step.
It is an achievable step, but it would also take a lot of effort. And
yes, and now maybe the last question, and something that, it's my favorite question. So you tell me from the bottom part of your heart, why do you like Lightning?
It's a simple and a complicated question, but I like the ease of programmability of money on this level, but also like Lightning is a very good settlement layer, and you can integrate it into plenty of use cases. I personally am very excited about the idea of machine-to-machine payments and what that could enable in the future. But it just works. Like if you go to a local store that supports Bitcoin here, paying with Lightning, or I can send you 10 sets right now without a problem. And if we come from different countries, that would make a significant difficulty potentially if we try to do so. Lightning just makes payments easier, and that's what makes it great, and that's why I like it.
It's almost magical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much, Aljaz, for your time, for sharing your thoughts. We will keep in touch.